No formal intro today. We're jumping right into the recipes. I'll give you a little voiceover intro. Thank you for being here. If you could, give this video a huge thumbs up, leave a comment below. It helps me out so much. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so you don't miss any new videos by me. My meal prep videos are definitely my most popular. This one is jam-packed. Most of these are high protein vegetarian breakfast ideas. Now, not all of them have to be for breakfast. I love breakfast for lunch and breakfast for dinner, but that's what the majority of these kind of play out to be. They're very breakfasty vibes, but again, I don't just eat breakfast for breakfast. I always love hearing from you and what you guys are meal prepping for the week, so drop me a comment down below and let me know, what are you meal prepping? I decided to do this video based on pantry staples. I get a lot of questions when I'm doing my pantry reorganized videos if I could do a staples video, and I always say, like, gosh, do I even have any staples? Duh, of course I do. Everybody has staples. So I thought, what a better way to share a giant meal prep than to share with you what probably everybody has in their pantry, starting out with French toast. If you have any kind of bread, it's really, really easy to do. If you noticed, I did 6 eggs with about a 1/4 cup of water. My grandma used to do that all the time. She always said that if you add water or milk, whichever you want to add, we don't have any milk on hand. If you add water or milk, it would make the eggs adhere better to the toast. I 100% agree with her. It always just makes it so much easier. So went ahead and just grabbed a loaf of bread and 6 eggs, like I said, about a 1/4 cup of water, some cinnamon, and started making French toast. And then I didn't really know how many it would technically make. I believe it made 8 slices, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 10. So my daughter decided this week after I bought these fresh blueberries, she doesn't like blueberries anymore. That's just one thing that babies do. So I will top these with some Greek yogurt and some fresh blueberries, and they will be high protein for us. Now my daughter did decide that she really likes French toast, which I figured she would because she's a big pancake girly. So I was like, you're going to like French toast. She loved it with yogurt. She did not like it with blueberries. Again, she just decided no longer into blueberries, even though for the past few weeks she's been devouring them. I don't know, a little sus. Anyways, big huge container. I think it made 10 pieces. Did anybody catch how many I actually made? I don't know. Moving along, I decided to go through and see what I had on hand. I had some pecans in my freezer that I wanted to use up. I had some bananas and I was like, perfect, I can make some banana muffins. These will be a great snack, a great breakfast, a great pre-workout, a great take and go. Now, these are technically not high protein, and I did a couple of different things for the ingredients. I will leave the recipe link down below. It is not my recipe, so I'll just link it. A couple of things that I did differently is I added yogurt instead of sour cream. I blended, or I guess ground, my pecans into a flour because I am going to give these to my baby and I didn't want any kind of nut choking hazard. So far, she has no nut allergies. Pecans are going to be introduced new to her. So far, we're good. So I'm not really worried about it. Neither my husband and I have a pecan allergy. He has a little sensitivity to cashews. I used to peanuts, not anymore. Very strange. Anyways, I ground these up. I used yogurt instead of sour cream. And then to make these kind of quote unquote high protein, I would actually have these with a protein shake if I was going to have this as a meal, just to kind of add that protein element. They have a lot of really good, delicious ingredients. You could also add flaxseed and chia seeds and just a bunch of different stuff. You could add oatmeal if you wanted to, but I just took the recipe kind of as is and just made those 2 little small switches. Again, this is just using things that we always have on hand. I always have flour, sugar, brown sugar, vanilla. Actually, I think I skipped the vanilla because I completely forgot. Eggs are usually on hand, except when they're $1 million a dozen. Then I don't keep them on hand. But recently I've been keeping them on hand again because I've been doing a lot of baking. If you didn't know this, maybe I should do a video on this because I have a bunch of cakes coming up. I love to make my friends' birthday cakes. I like to make their gender reveal cakes. I'm going to make my daughter's first birthday cake. I go all out when it comes to cakes. If you'd like to see a dedicated cake video, let me know. I have 3 cakes that I'm making in the next couple weeks. And if you want to, I can kind of gather the footage and share with you the cakes that I'm making. If you need some inspiration, let me know down below if you're interested in that. I'd love to share. It's something I've never shared here on my channel, but I've done for years. Okay, if you saw the brown sugar, it was rock hard. Someone left me a comment not too long ago when I was baking and said, hey, just pop it in the microwave for a few seconds. I couldn't remember how many seconds they said. I also didn't Google it. So I put it in there for 30 seconds and lo and behold, it was liquid. Which I should have, see it? It's liquid. Should have known. And there's also granules on the bottom. You'll see me scoop out in a little bit. I was like, okay, well, It worked out. It worked out just fine. Next time I'll put it in there maybe for like 10 seconds. I probably popped it in for 30 and kind of just forgot about it. Worked out just fine. I mean, I know you can also take like a piece of bread and put it with the brown sugar. My mom always used to do that trick, so did my grandma, but I have not, even though I had bread on hand, didn't even think about it. It was just like getting the meal prep done, didn't even think about it. Maybe now that I'm talking about it, I will. No, who are we kidding? Next time you see my brown sugar, it's going to be the same, and I'm going to pop it in the microwave, probably for 30 seconds again, probably forget about it. I got a lot going on. I'm a mom of a 10-month-old. I always am trying to work as fast as possible, get as much done as possible. Usually she's eating lunch or breakfast in her high chair while I'm meal prepping, and then she's telling me that she wants everything that I'm making. It's so cute. In the intro, you probably saw she crawled to me in the pantry. She was playing with everything in our like Tupperware cabinet. That's like her favorite spot to be when I'm baking, or in the kitchen. I just make sure that when she's around me, the front burners I don't use, just because I want to get into a really good habit of not using the front burners, and I don't use the oven anymore when she's on the floor, just because she loves to look at herself in the oven. I don't want her to like touch the hot surface. So these came together really, really well. These are such a good way to use bananas and nuts if you have them. If you don't have pecans, don't even worry about it. You could add chocolate chips to this. And yes, I am spraying my silicone molds because I think I got a lemon when it comes to the silicone molds. From the very first time I've used these, everything sticks. Is anybody else's do that? Is it just like maybe I got a bad one? Maybe I got like a poor brand? I don't know. Everything sticks to them, so I still have to spray them. Now, granted, they're very easy to clean out because even though I have to spray them, everything pops out, super easy to clean. I will use these over and over and over and over and over. I'm not going to buy another set. But if I do not spray them, my desserts do not come out. Not in one piece anyways. I have to like, it's so strange. I thought silicone, maybe I'm doing something wrong. If you guys have a helpful tip for that, let me know down below. I know I'm not the only one because I recently was watching meal prep videos and this girl did the same thing and all her comments were like, you don't have to spray it. You don't have to spray it. She's like, then why does it stick? I don't know. Maybe we both just got lemons. Also decided to add the cinnamon sugar topping to this, even though I didn't have the like granulated sugar crystals that she recommended on this blog recipe. I was like, you know what? It's still going to be really good. Again, a nice little take and go breakfast, take and go pre-workout, post-workout. I would have it with a protein shake. So would my husband. Or you could have it on a side if you're making like an egg bake, or I mean, honestly, you can just eat this for breakfast too. I just always tried to include protein in every single meal. Thankfully, it was cooler this day, so I didn't mind turning on my oven. I try not to turn it on if it's like above 74 degrees. I live in Las Vegas, in case you're curious, and it just makes the house too hot. But if I keep it early in the morning or when it's like a certain temperature, we're usually good to go. These were absolutely beautiful. They're very light colored. I think it's because of the bananas and the flour, but so good, so beautiful. And let's move on. Overnight oats in a peanut butter jar. My favorite thing recently. I've shared this recipe just recently, so I'm sorry if it's a repeat, but I am doing some things different. I'm only using a 1/4 cup of oats, and then I'm using 3 teaspoons of chia seeds. So it's more of a chia pudding with a little bit of oats versus oatmeal with a little bit of chia seeds. Hopefully that makes sense. Just changes the texture a little bit, makes it a little bit higher fat and lower carb, if you will. Like I said, 3 teaspoons of chia seeds, scoop of protein, 1/4 cup of oats. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it by now, we're almost 10 minutes into this video. The recipes are in the description box, so you can just enjoy me gabbing with you, hanging out, seeing what I'm making, and then when you're done watching the video, you can go screenshot or click the links to what you need. Adding a 1/4 cup of mixed frozen berries. Another thing I really like is having smoothies, but I let you all know in a recent video that I don't turn my blender on in the morning because everybody knows if you turn a blender on or a food processor on, a baby will wake up. But if you saw in the very first few clips of the muffin recipe, I used that handheld Bluetooth, I don't even know what it is, like cordless, that's the word I'm going for, cordless grinder. It comes with a blender cup that I completely forgot about, and it's actually very quiet, so I think I'm going to start using that for my smoothies in the morning. No, my smoothies won't be gigantic, but I'll get my smoothie fix. And I thank you so much for all the suggestions. People said like they put a towel on the top of their blender, they take it out to their garage, which I have considered because we have a freezer in our garage, so I could just make a little setup out there. I have my gym out there anyway, so like, but I'm worried because her bedroom is right there. So it's like, is she going to hear it? And then someone else said that they make their smoothies ahead and put them in the fridge. I don't know if I'm just like super picky, but I like a lot of ice in my smoothie, so I feel like it's just not going to be the same. I have pre-made my smoothies before. I did it once, you guys, in a meal prep video probably 3 years ago, and every single comment, there was like 100 comments just making fun of me. So maybe I'm a little bit scarred from that. Maybe it's not even the taste. Maybe I'm just scarred from that. Okay, moving on to regular overnight oats. One of these has an original packet of oats and a packet of apple cinnamon. The other one has a packet of cookies and cream and an original packet. For whatever reason, that didn't film. It also has a scoop of vanilla protein. I will link the proteins that I love down below. And then we're using a cup of, again, the frozen mixed berries, adding water to like cover everything, mixing it up, popping it in the fridge for at least 12 hours. So delicious. If you don't have a peanut butter jar, this is just another way to make overnight oats. I wanted at least 5 on hand, 5 breakfasts for myself to take with me to work, because when I get up early, typically around 3:40 a.m. to get to the gym by 4 a.m., I don't really want to make a breakfast. And like I said, I wasn't really making smoothies this week until I thought about it when I was editing. Energy bites. I made these recently, the exact same ingredients, recipes down below, except I had like a tiny little bit. If you saw that, a tiny little bit, like 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. You don't have to use that. I just had a little bit left and decided I'm going to throw it in. These are such a huge staple in our house in the summertime because they are so easy. And then you can just eat. I will use whatever we have on hand, but basically the staples are nut butter, 1.5 cups, 2 cups of oats. You don't have to use maple syrup. Couple teaspoons of chia seeds, 3 scoops of protein powder. You can alternate with anything you have. If you want to use peanut butter one week and then almond butter the next and then cashew butter the next, it'll work out. If you want to use a different type of protein, chocolate, vanilla, cake pop, strawberries and cream, whatever you want to use, throw it in. You can use any kind of chip, butterscotch, white chocolate, peppermint, chocolate chip, anything. So it's really a versatile recipe that you can change up based on like whatever flavor you want, and then it's perfection. I've even made these with like carrot cake by putting ground carrots in them. You could use white chocolate chips for that. You could use dates in it. Super easy, super versatile. I'm just happening to use this same recipe twice within a couple of videos because we have all of the same ingredients on hand, but I'm still sharing with you. These are the things that I prepped because I did a lot of meal prep this I'd love to hear from you. What recipe in today's video are you making first? Because if these are my pantry staples, I'm just going to assume that you guys have the same staples on hand. And if you don't have the exact same things, like if you don't have chia seed and you have flaxseed, you could add ground flaxseed to this. You know, like you can mix it up. If you don't have like the same bread I do, you could use something else. If you know, like I'm guessing you have most of these staples on hand. So I'd love to hear from you. What recipe are you going to make first in your kitchen? Again, I'm just sharing what works for us and our family. I think this is just like such an easy recipe. It makes so many bites, and then I just roll them into little balls and pop them in the refrigerator. One tip I want to give you, because sometimes depending on what protein powder you use, I notice if I use a plant-based protein powder, the mix is drier than if I use like an isolate or a whey blend. So one tip I do is I will just mix it as is, and then when I get to the bottom of the mix, the dough, let's call it dough. When I get to the bottom, it might be a little bit dry. I will add a couple tablespoons of water, mix it up, and then I can roll the rest into balls. So if you get to the bottom and it's ever a little bit dry, just put a little water in it and it'll be just fine. So just keep that in mind. It's a great tip to use at any point. It just happens if you put a little bit extra protein powder in there. It's usually not the top part, it's just the bottom part. Again, with like the mixing, if you use a bigger bowl, if you use a food processor, you typically don't have to add the water, but sometimes I do, depending on the protein powder, because it can be a little bit drier. So keep that tip in mind. While I was making these, my daughter was eating her lunch in the high chair off to the side, and I was thinking, see, here, right here, sorry, I added a little bit of water just to get to the bottom. Okay, so I was thinking, as she was eating her lunch, she was eating raspberries and, well, it doesn't matter what else. But anyway, she was eating raspberries. I was thinking, I want to make a raspberry white chocolate one of these. There is a nut butter out there that I know of. I just have to find it. Hopefully this company still makes it. That's raspberry white chocolate. So I would get that as a base, and then oatmeal, chia seeds. I would add white chocolate chips, and then frozen raspberries, or even freeze-dried raspberries, but frozen would be much more budget friendly, and then mix it up. I'm just thinking that's like a great idea for summer. Also, we've done this before. If you have peanut butter and jelly on hand, these are fantastic peanut butter and jelly bites. You don't even have to add the chips at that point, but I mean, I still would. Just being honest, I would probably add white chips. They're one of my favorites. So As you can see, I'm just adding them to little storage containers, whatever I have on hand. My life is mix match. I don't have one set of anything. I just use what I have. Don't buy anything new. And then pop them in the refrigerator, and they are perfection. The best snack, breakfast, quick meal option, and super, super good for you. Not low calorie. I repeat, not low calorie, but very good for you and give you a lot of energy. If you haven't by now, please subscribe so you don't miss a new video by me and my girl, who's, like I said, she was just hanging out playing with me. I thought this was such a perfect little ending. I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye.